cruel tax raid on farmers. That's what they're calling it. They're saying that some farmers are threatening to take their own lives before the new tax comes into force in April. And then finally, wrapping things up with our final paper today, we've got the Times, and it does picture the 9 victims in that Bondi terror attack in Australia. All of them, unfortunately, losing their lives. And there's also a quip about Sir Keir Starmer urging doctors to push back against the British Medical Association over planned strikes this week during a serious flu outbreak in the United Kingdom.
A couple of things. I think Trump is just stretching it with this case. The BBC has already apologized. In the case of defamation, once an apology comes in, I think things should soften. But Trump wants to prove a point. I think he's going to have a hard time in court to prove, number one, malice. Number two, some legal experts have talked about, editing a standard operating procedure. Number three, there are many court judgments to the effect that Trump really emboldened the insurrection that happened. In fact, people have been charged to court as a result of this. Yes. So on these 3 strong grounds, except if there are extraordinary circumstances and information out there that prove that the BBC actually had malice towards Trump intentionally, I think that case should be dismissed at some point. Yes, and I think it's very uncharitable for Trump to pee on the dead man's grave. Even if you didn't like the Rainers, please, there's no point tweeting all that. It was so bad that the likes of Piers Morgan, of all people, you can't be as right that Piers Morgan. In fact, he even wrote a book, a bestseller about being anti-woke. Piers Morgan even had to tell him on Twitter that this is terribly bad. You should delete that message you put on Truth Social. And it just shows the way Trump goes. He doesn't care for other people. And that's why the resistance is on. Look at what he's doing with ICE. Look at what he's doing with other institutions of government. By the way, Richard Maudo's got a great new podcast out called The Burn Order on how the Japanese were taken into concentration camps in 1942. I think it's a must listen to for everybody. And you understand what Trump is doing with ICE today. Definitely. This time, too, will pass, like 1942 passed.
Okay, so still on Trump, because I'd like to draw a parallel. But first of all, very sad news with Rob Rain and his wife, Michelle. More detail has emerged as to how they died. Their throats were slit in a very tragic circumstance, in very tragic circumstances. But even worse off is the fact that the main suspect at the time is one of a family member, their middle son, to be exact. It was their daughter who found them dead at home, and she alerted the police and actually mentioned that a family member might have caused the death. But going on to, despite tributes pouring in because of some of the movies you already mentioned that he was a part of, is the president's speech. Jimmy Kimmel has come out to say that where he ought to have shown compassion and leadership, he didn't take the opportunity. Now, what he said might have been very unverified, was that he had caused anger based on his consistent, what he calls Trump derangement syndrome. And that, and he spoke about these things. And I draw the parallel with the time Charlie Kirk died. And recall that the president said that anyone who was found saying anything bad about Charlie Kirk on social media should be deported or denied the US visa, if you remember. He was very intolerant to that. So to imagine him, who was intolerant to people speaking ill about Charlie Kirk, then speaking ill about someone who does not support him, just shows, double standards there, just to talk about that. But I'm just so sorry about their deaths, and I hope that they say the son has mental challenges. They've often talked about it. They had a public spat just the weekend before that at a public event. He also had issues around drugs, and this just presents a bigger advocacy against abuse of drugs.
Definitely.
Okay, the classical principle establishing folk wisdom from ancient times is do not speak ill of the dead, dramatized to great effect in Sophocles' Greek tragedian Ajax, in a play titled Ajax. But here we see President Trump violating that, and he speaks to his lack of empathy, using the occasion of what is clearly a family tragedy, a son allegedly butchering his own parents, to now say, oh, Rob Renner was a deranged man, and that, more or less saying he had no pity for him. In other words, he deserves to die. Because he said he was suffering from what he called the Trump derangement syndrome. Renner having been a very staunch critic of President Trump. No, it's very unfortunate that the President of the United States will speak in that manner against the grain, the run of humanistic response to tragedies. Now, as for Jimmy Lai, what you face in Hong Kong is just media repression. As articulated in the National Security Law that came on stream in 2019 and the Article 23 that followed it. Now, Jimmy Lai was a very strong pro-democracy protester against Hong Kong and China. Now they are using this law, to suppress him and to send him to life in prison.
Yes.
I think Amnesty International is very right to have called it a judicial farce. And Taiwan is also right to say that what we are having here is clearly a case of political persecution. As for the case between Trump and BBC, again, this is the occupational hazard for journalists. Now, that particular matter led to the resignation of the Director General of BBC, Jim Davey, and also the news director, Turner, who had to resign because of this matter. But we'll see what happens in court. BBC, meanwhile, is saying, we have offered an apology. We do not think that Trump suffered any particular damage to the extent that it did not affect the outcome of the report and that the material was not broadcast in the United States. However, Trump's lawyers say that it was broadcast on VPN, via VPN in the state of Florida, where they have instituted the lawsuit. But it will be interesting to see whether Trump gets that $10 billion that he's asking for on the 2 counts that his lawyers are pushing, or whether he fails or not, will also be ultimately a lesson for journalists, for the media generally, either in Hong Kong or in Britain. This is part of the hazard involving this profession. After all, in Hong Kong, Jimmy Lai is facing this suffering because he publishes a paper called Apple Daily, which he uses to criticize the establishment in both Hong Kong and China. So maybe we will also have lessons to learn from that.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Adefemi Akinsanya. We'll see you again tomorrow morning for more updates around the world and, of course, a detailed analysis of the newspapers. We'll take a short break now. When we return, we'll have Rotu Sodiri to give us updates on global business activities. Don't go anywhere.
We bringing Christmas back, Maggie style.
On the 12th day of Christmas, my Maggie gave to me 12 spices, soya, 11 orishi, 10 rocks of boy, 9 left for the 8 plates of unkwabi, 7 pepper soup, 6 is in sales, 5 fried fish, 4 cocoa bangus, 3 pasi jollof, 2 gigs dodo. Delicious holiday season with Maggie. Me and Maggie, so good together. Me and Maggie, so good together. Maggie,
Ike, you are jogging? Since when?
Freshio, a good source of vitamins A, B6, B12, D, and zinc that keeps you active and refreshed on the go.
You're so full of life these days, Ike. Since when?
Hey, it's Friday!
Party tonight?
After this long day of work, and you too, since when?
Freshio, wholesome goodness every day. Grab your bottle now.
We've got news. Freshio Kids Pack is back with a straw hole.
Hi everyone, have you heard of Easy Buy Christmas Bonanza? This Awufu Brekete is starting from November 15th to December 31st. Easy Buy is offering reduced interest rates, discount on screen insurance, amazing gift items, food stuff, and many more. Easy Buy, buy now, pay later.
Millions of Nigerians have switched to Oral-B and are enjoying strong tea and fresh bread. but other people still suffer from tooth pain. To them I say, switch to Oral-B Pro Health 24-hour protection. Its advanced formula gives you 24-hour protection against bad breath and protects against tooth hole that can lead to tooth loss. So what are you waiting for? Save your teeth and use Oral-B 24-hour.
Polo, the reward of success.
My baba, they always say, for market, every day gets your own wahala. Sometimes people go on scan me. But Baba say, no be by gra. You must cool down, dey sharp. Because with OPay payment, your money go enter sharp, no story. But inside market, anything fit happen. One day, we no see phone again. My baba remember OPay USSD lock, dial *955*131#. Baba press am, lock account. From market woman to driver, from small boy to big man. Now OPay, they protect people like us. My baba fit sell, press phone, collect POS, and still they teach me price. And when they don't tire am, go just tap OPay night guard. We no fear for this our hustle life. Now OPay be the people payment shield.
Support the Special Seats Bill for Women.
This is a bill about making sure that every woman who makes up half of our population have a seat where decisions that affect their lives, their children, and our collective prosperity are being made. I'm calling on all of us, my distinguished colleagues in the Senate, members of House of the Representatives, governors, traditional rulers, and every Nigerian who believes in fairness. This is about our future. This is about leaving a better legacy for those coming after us. Thank you all. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Distinguished lawmakers, your vote for the Special Seats Bill for Women is a vote for inclusion, progress, and the future of our democracy. This message is brought to you by the Policy and Legal Advocacy Center, PLAC.
Welcome back to the morning show here on Arise News. Now for global business updates, Rotu Sodiri joins us.
Good morning, Dr. Abasi. Good morning, Ayo. Good morning, Rufai. All our viewers, begin in Asia. Losses extending, blood red. I heard you guys just talking about Hong Kong a moment ago. I think they're second place in terms of the worst losses this morning, but Korea leading the way. Tech stocks, SK Hynix, Samsung falling. You can see the same thing with Japan. Hong Kong, look at that 1.96. Shanghai. Basically, there's still this fear of this AI trade. Let's quickly move on to India. We previewed this yesterday. Here is your October trade data for India. Your trade deficit, the difference between your exports